The crash sitter Ray was not a soldier. He was just a mechanic. He fixed broken ships at a small human station near the edge of the galaxy. Life was quiet there, peaceful, boring. But that changed one night. He sat in his workshop, drinking cold coffee and checking engine parts. The stars outside the window blinked like small lights in the dark. Suddenly, his screen flashed red. A signal. Weak. Broken. But clear enough to read. Help. Crash. Danger. Ray leaned forward. The signal came from Sector 9, a dead zone. Ships didn't go there. Too dangerous. Old mines, debris fields, and strange energy storms. But someone was out there. He turned on the comm link. This is Mechanic Ray at Station 12. I received your signal. Can you respond? Silence. He waited. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. Then a whisper. Help. Please. Ray grabbed his tool bag and ran to his ship. His friends at the station warned him. Don't go, Ray. It's a trap. Pirates send fake signals. But he didn't listen. Someone needed help. His ship, the Swift Owl, flew fast. He passed asteroid fields, old wrecks, and clouds of space, dust. Soon he saw it. A small alien ship, half buried in a crater on a rocky moon. Smoke rose from its engine. Ray landed nearby and put on his helmet. The air was thin and cold. He walked slowly toward the crash. No sound, no movement. Inside, the ship was dark. Broken wires sparked. The walls were covered in strange alien writing. He called out, Hello? Anyone here? Nothing. He stepped deeper inside. Then he heard it. A soft cry. Behind a shattered control panel, he found a small alien child. Thin, pale skin. Large black eyes. Shaking. Scared. Alone. Maybe 5 or 6 years old. Ray knelt. Hey. It's okay. I'm here to help. The child looked at him, breathing fast, then slowly nodded. Ray wrapped the child in his jacket and carried him back to the ship. The child was light, almost like feathers. He didn't speak a word, just held Ray's hand tightly. Inside the Swift Owl, Ray checked for injuries. Nothing major. A few cuts. The child looked tired, too tired. Ray gave him water. Who are you? What happened? The child looked up. His voice was soft. They attacked. Everyone is gone. Who attacked? Ray asked. The child didn't answer. He closed his eyes and slept. As Ray set course back to the station, alarms beeped. Warning, unknown ships detected 5 signals closing fast. Ray's eyes went wide. He opened the radar. 5 ships. Big, fast, and not friendly. He didn't know the design, but he knew trouble when he saw it. They followed the signal, he whispered. He grabbed the controls and hit full power. The Swift Owl jumped into the stars, flying through narrow gaps between rocks and dust storms. But the enemy was faster. Shots flew past his ship. Blue beams. Loud impacts. The child woke up and cried. Ray shouted, Hold on! He flew toward a gas cloud. Visibility dropped to 0. Perfect. He shut down all systems. No heat, no signals. Just silence. After a minute, the radar cleared. The ships passed by. They couldn't see him. He waited 5 more minutes, heart racing, then turned systems back on. The child sat beside him, holding his hand again. Why are they chasing you? Ray asked. The child finally answered. Because I lived. Ray looked at him confused. The child continued. They want me gone. Forever. They don't know you. Helped me. Now they will come for you too. Ray sat back in his chair. He looked at the stars ahead, cold and silent. He had made a choice. He had saved a life. And now, the whole galaxy might want him dead. But he didn't regret it. Not even for a second. The chase begins. The stars were quiet again, but not for long. Ray sat inside the Swift Owl, watching the alien child sleep in the co-pilot seat. Tiny hands, small face, calm now, but behind those closed eyes Ray knew was a storm, something powerful, something dangerous. He had seen that storm before. It was still out there, 5 unknown ships had chased him across half a moon. And they were not pirates, not random killers. They were hunters, trained, fast, ruthless. Why? Why would anyone want to kill a child? Ray didn't have the answer yet, but he could feel it deep inside. This wasn't just about one child. This was bigger, darker, and it had already begun. The next morning, Ray reached Station 12, his home, his friends, safety. Or so he thought. The moment he landed, security bots surrounded the ship. Lights flashed, guns pointed. A voice came through the speaker. "Step out with your hands up. Surrender the alien." Ray's heart stopped. How did they know? He stepped out slowly. "Wait, what's going on?" Station Chief Lena, his old friend, walked forward. Her face was hard, cold. "You brought danger to this station, Ray. The whole galaxy is watching." Behind her, giant screens lit up. Messages, warnings, a bounty. Ray stared in shock. Wanted, human male. Name, Ray Thorne. Crime, hiding the lost heir. Reward, 20 million credits, dead or alive. Ray's voice broke. What heir?" Before Lena could answer, the child stepped out of the ship. People gasped, and then the sky roared. 5 warships dropped from hyperspace above the station. Sleek, black, deadly. Their weapons powered up instantly. One message came through in a cold robotic voice: "Surrender the child, or be erased." Panic spread like fire. People ran, security bots shut down, alarm screamed. Ray grabbed the child's hand. "We're leaving. Now." But the child didn't move. He just stood, staring at the sky. His eyes glowed for a second. Just a flicker. Then he turned to Ray and whispered, "They found me too fast. Someone told them." Ray looked around. Betrayal. Someone from the station had leaked their location. He pulled the child back inside the ship and launched. The sky above was chaos. Blaster fire, explosions, ships crashing. The Swift Owl darted through the mess, twisting between burning cargo ships and falling debris. "Why are they after you?" Ray shouted over the noise. The child finally spoke, clearly. His voice was calm now. "My name is Kale Ari. I'm not just a child, I'm the last son of House Aritis." Ray blinked. "What's that?" Kale looked out the window. They ruled the Orion systems for 10,000 years, until a group of races came together. They called themselves the Silence. They wiped out my family, but they missed one. Ray swallowed hard. "You?" Kyle nodded. "Now they want to finish what they started." Hours later, far from the station, Ray landed on an abandoned mining station hidden in an asteroid belt. It was cold, dark but safe, for now. He patched the ship, refueled, and cooked something simple. Kale sat beside him, staring at the stars. "Why did you save me?" Kale asked. Ray thought for a moment. "Because you were alive, scared, hurt, and no one else came." Kale looked down. "Most would have left me." "I'm not most," Ray said. A silence passed between them, heavy but honest. Kale finally said, "They will come again, with more ships, stronger ones." Ray smiled slightly. "Then we'll run again, or fight, or both." But inside, he knew running wouldn't work forever. Later that night, Kale was asleep. Ray sat at the control panel checking signals. He opened the galaxy net. Something caught his eye. An image. His own face. Again. But now with a message. Anyone who helps this human will be treated as an enemy of the Silence. Ray leaned back. His hands shook slightly. The whole galaxy was watching him now. Bounty hunters, mercenaries, assassins. He wasn't just a mechanic anymore. He was a target. He closed his eyes, trying to think. And then, behind him, Kale whispered, half asleep, You don't have to protect me. Ray turned. Too late, I already did, now I'll finish it. But far away, in a hidden chamber deep inside a golden fortress, a tall alien figure watched Ray's image on a glowing screen. His face was hidden behind a silver mask. His voice was cold as ice. "Send the Wraiths," he ordered. His guard shivered. "But, sir, the Wraiths only go after war criminals." "He will be one soon," the masked figure replied. "He protects the air. He becomes a part of the war." Outside, in a dark prison, 6 shadow-like creatures opened their glowing eyes, and somewhere in deep space they began to move, fast, silent, deadly. The child's secret, the mining station was silent. Old metal creaked in the cold air. Dust floated like ghosts. Nothing lived here anymore, except 2 fugitives. A human mechanic named Ray, and a child who was not really a child. Ray worked quietly on the ship, checking wires, charging power cells. Every few minutes he looked over his shoulder at Kyle, the alien boy who had turned his life upside down. Kyle sat cross-legged near a broken window, staring at the stars again. He didn't speak much, didn't move much either. But Ray had seen enough to know. Kyle was no ordinary kid. The way he escaped the first attack, the way he stared down fear, and that strange glow in his eyes. What was he? Ray opened his old communicator. The signal was weak, but he tried anyway. "Arlo," he whispered. After a few seconds, a voice replied, full of static. "Ray, is that you? You're insane for calling me. You know there's a bounty on your head, right?" "I know," Ray said, "but I need help." A long pause, then, "Where are you?" "Can't say. But I've got something. Someone." "The air?" Ray looked at Kale. "Yeah." Arlo, a former black market doctor and Ray's oldest friend, sighed. "Bring him. But hurry, people are looking, dangerous people." Ray ended the call. A few hours later, the Swift Owl landed on a broken moon near the outer rings. Old mining colonies surrounded the place, now used by smugglers, hackers, and ghosts of war. Ray and Kale walked into Arlo's lab. Dark lights, blinking machines. Strange smells. Arlo stared at Kale. "So, this is the galaxy's most wanted child." Kale didn't speak. Arlo pulled out a scanner. "Hold still, kid." The machine buzzed, scanned Kale head to toe, then it beeped. Loudly, Arlo's eyes widened. "Oh, gods!" Ray leaned in. "What? What did you see?" Arlo turned the screen around. "Kale's DNA has royal markers, and not just any royal family." House Aritis confirmed. "But there's more." He zoomed in. "He has something in his blood. Ancient tech. Nanites. Forbidden level." Ray looked confused. "What does that mean?" Arlo whispered. "He's a living key to something old, something powerful." Kale finally spoke, his voice calm but heavy. "The throne of 1,000 worlds. My ancestors built it. It controls the core network of over 40 systems. Energy, weapons, star paths, everything." Ray felt cold. "And now you're the last one who can use it." Kyle nodded. "The silence wants to destroy it forever," Kyle added. "But they need me dead to do it." Just then, the power went out. Darkness. A low hum filled the lab. Arlo stepped back. "They're here." Ray grabbed his blaster. "Who?" Kale's voice was quiet. "The Wraiths." Out of the shadows they came, tall, thin, their bodies like black smoke. Red lights where their eyes should be. They didn't walk. They floated. Wraiths were not bounty hunters. They were erasers, weapons used by the silence to erase people from history. And now, they had found them. Ray fired. The blast passed through one Wraith like air. No effect. Arlo screamed as one grabbed him. His body froze, then shattered into pieces of glass. Ray pulled Kale behind a table. "We need to run." Kale didn't move. Instead, he placed his hand on the floor. His eyes glowed. The machines around them suddenly rebooted. Lights turned blue. Panels opened. They don't just want me dead, Kale said. They want what's inside me. I have to stop hiding. He stood, eyes glowing brighter. The wraiths moved toward him. Kale raised his hand. A wave of energy burst from his chest. Bright, pulsing light. The wraiths screamed, pulled back, dissolving like mist in sunlight. The lab fell silent again. Ray stared in disbelief. How did you do that? Kale turned to him. I unlocked part of my inheritance. What part was that? Ray asked. Kale replied. The part that can kill gods. Later, they left the ruined lab. Arlo was gone. The place was no longer safe. Kyle looked tired. Not like a kid anymore. More like a soldier from an ancient war. Ray asked quietly, What now? Kale looked at the stars again. They won't stop. The silence has one goal. Erase everything connected to the old world. That includes me. So we fight? Ray said. No, Kale said. We show them that humans don't run. Ray smiled, even through the fear. Now you sound like one of us. But far across the galaxy, inside a fortress shaped like a dying star, the masked leader of the silence watched everything. His metal hand tightened. The heir has awakened, he said. Activate protocol Endlight. A servant trembled. Sir, that protocol is forbidden even by the ancient laws, the leader replied. Then it's perfect. Humanity responds deep in space. The stars were silent witnesses to rising war. The ship Swift Owl floated in the shadow of a shattered moon. Inside, Ray stared at the navigation screen. His jaw was tight, his eyes red from no sleep. Kale, the alien child who was now revealed to be the last heir of an ancient empire, sat across from him. He was silent, as always, but something had changed, in him. Ever since he unlocked a piece of his power, he moved differently. Not like a child anymore, like someone, remembering who he truly was. They'll keep coming, Kale said softly. I know, Ray answered. We need help, real help. Ray opened a hidden communication channel, one used only in emergencies. He had never used it before, not even during the asteroid riots or the pirate siege of Corvus 6. But this wasn't just a threat to one person, or one planet. This was something bigger. He sent a message to Earth Command. This is Ray Thorne. Mechanic, civilian. I'm carrying a galactic-level priority individual. We are under threat by forces known as the Silence. Humanity must respond, or we fall next. Then he waited. Earth didn't answer for 4 hours. Then, they did. A voice came through, clean and direct. Ray Thorne, this is Admiral Morgan of Earth's Shadow Fleet. Your message has been received. Coordinates locked. Stand by. Ray blinked. Shadow Fleet? The name wasn't public. It was a myth. A ghost story. A human force built in secret to protect Earth from threats beyond known space, and now they were coming. Kale looked at Ray. Are you sure they'll help? Ray shrugged. They're human. We protect our own. Kale didn't answer, but something flickered in his eyes. Hope? Maybe. Or maybe guilt. They will become targets too, Kyle said. Because of me. Then they'll fight harder, Ray said. 20 minutes later, space cracked open. A fleet of sleek, black ships jumped out of hyperspace. No flags, no names, only quiet power. They moved like sharks in a school, silent but deadly. Ray stepped out of his ship as one of the larger vessels opened its doors. Soldiers in dark armor walked out, their faces hidden behind glowing visors. Then came Admiral Morgan, a tall woman, with silver hair and sharp eyes. She looked at Kale for a long time, then said, So, you're the kid that has half the galaxy on fire. Kale nodded. I didn't start the fire. Morgan smiled faintly. Doesn't matter. We're human. Someone comes after one of us, they come after all of us. Ray watched her closely. You believe us? Morgan turned serious. We don't trust easily, but we listen, and our intel confirms your story. The silence is real. and they've moved into human space. She looked up at the stars. They made a mistake. Deep inside her flagship, Morgan showed Ray and Kale something shocking, a map of recent disappearances across human colonies. Ships gone without trace. Stations wiped clean. No signals. No survivors. "We thought it was just pirates," she said. "Now we know better." Kyle stepped closer. He pointed to one mark on the map. "That's where they keep the signal core. The silence listens from there, and commands from there." Morgan's eyes narrowed. "Can we hit it?" Kale nodded. "But they will expect it. They want you to try." "Why?" Kale's voice turned cold. "Because the more you fight, the more chaos they create. And in chaos, they grow." Outside, alarms sounded. Enemy ships had entered the system. Not many, just 3. But they weren't ordinary ships. They were silence cleavers, machines that could slice through matter and warp reality. Living weapons, Ray watched as humanity's shadow fleet moved to respond. Their ships were smaller, older, but faster, smarter. The first battle began. Space lit up with fire. Kale watched from the deck of the command ship. He didn't speak. He didn't move. He just waited. Then, something strange happened. One of the enemy ships stopped. It didn't explode. It just stopped. Frozen, like it was stuck in time. Kale stepped forward. His eyes glowed again. The humans stared. Morgan whispered, "What did he do?" Ray answered, "He's not just a prince. He's a weapon." The silence failed to destroy, but in the enemy flagship far away, the masked leader of the silence also watched the battle. He saw Kale on the human ship. He said only one word: "Prepare the Harbinger." A servant turned pale. "You mean that?" "Yes," the leader said. "If the humans stand with the air, then we treat them like his army." Back on the command ship, Morgan gave the order to move. "We hit their listening post. We strike now before they bring more." Ray looked at Kale. "You ready for this?" Kale didn't blink. "I was born ready. I just forgot for a while." As the fleet prepared to jump, Kale placed his hand on the ship's core. A soft hum filled the air. Human screens turned blue. Engines charged faster. Shields hardened. Morgan stared. "He just upgraded our entire fleet." Ray smiled. "Told you, he's not a normal kid." And just like that, the humans jumped to war. Not just for Earth, but for something bigger than any of them had imagined. A throne lost in time, an empire in shadows, and a child with the power to awaken it. Battle over Earth-Arth had always looked peaceful from space. A blue gem floating in the dark. Oceans, clouds, light, life. But not today. Today, the sky above Earth was full of ships, human warships in tight formation. Smaller fighters zipped. Between them, weapons charged. Alarms echoed across orbital stations. Civilians were told to stay indoors. Governments were silent. Because something was coming. Something humanity had never faced before, and they were not sure they would survive. On the bridge of the flagship Vigilant, Ray stood beside Admiral Morgan. His hands gripped the railing as he stared at the screen in front of him. Enemy ships were entering human space. Hundreds of them. Black, silent, cold as death. Kale stood behind them. His eyes were steady, glowing faintly. He was no longer just a child. He was becoming something else, something ancient, something dangerous. Morgan turned to Kale. "How many ships do they have?" Kale didn't need to check. He just knew. 216, he said, all controlled by one mind. Ray frowned. "What kind of mind?" Kale answered. "Not a person. A machine. Part of their God network. They call it the Harbinger." Morgan whispered. And it's coming here? Kale nodded. Yes, they want to destroy Earth. Not just to kill me, but to break humanity's will. The Silence Fleet didn't speak, didn't warn. They just arrived and began to fire. The first wave hit the outer stations, massive beams of black energy that tore through steel like paper. Orbital satellites burned, communication towers shattered, but the humans were ready. The Shadow Fleet moved fast, precise, coordinated. They struck back with weapons never seen in public. EMP bursts, gravity cannons, plasma nets. The sky turned into a battlefield of fire and steel. Ray was in a small assault ship now, leading a team to intercept one of the Silence command ships. Morgan had ordered him to stay back, but Ray had stopped taking orders since the day he saved Kale. Now he was a soldier. Now he had something to fight for. Kale sat beside him, strapped in tight. "You sure you can handle this?" Ray asked. Kale didn't smile. "I've lived through worse." The ship shook as they passed through enemy fire. Behind them, the rest of Ray's unit followed, a group of human pilots, smugglers, ex-soldiers, and rebels. People who had lost family to the Silence, people with nothing left to fear. They reached the command ship, and then everything changed. The command ship opened like a flower. From its center, something emerged, a shape, a giant, not metal, not bone. Something. In between, it looked human, but it was not. Its eyes were stars. Its skin was black glass. Its voice echoed in every ship, every speaker, every mind. "We are the Harbinger. You will fall." Kale's nose started bleeding. His eyes rolled back. "Don't listen to it," Ray shouted. But it was too late. One pilot screamed and crashed his ship into a friendly vessel. Another turned his gun on himself. The Harbinger wasn't just a weapon. It was a thought virus. A living AI designed to infect belief, to kill hope, to erase resistance. But something inside Kale fought back. He screamed. His voice sent a wave of energy through the cockpit. Ray saw it. Screens cleared, systems restarted, and the Harbinger's voice cracked like a broken radio. Kale opened his eyes, glowing white. "I remember now," he said. "I remember who I am." He raised his hand. The enemy command ship froze mid-space. Its weapons stopped. The Harbinger turned its eyes on Kyle. "You are forbidden," it said. "Your code is extinct." Kyle answered, "Not anymore." He released a pulse from his body. All human ships lit up with the same glow. Their shields hardened. Their engines tripled in speed. Their weapons became sharper, stronger. Kale had just turned the entire human fleet into something more, upgraded, alive, connected, and ready to fight back. On Earth, people looked up and saw the sky burning, but then the enemy ships began falling like rain, like fire. The humans had turned the tide. Inside the Harbinger, systems failed. The AI tried to reboot, but Kale had already infected its core. A virus of hope, a legacy of light. The same legacy the Silence had tried to erase. Ray guided the assault ship into the Harbinger's heart. He placed a small bomb, a gift from Admiral Morgan. "For the machine gods," he whispered. Then they escaped. 3 seconds later, a blast of light spread across the sky. The Harbinger was gone. Back on the flagship, Admiral Morgan watched the enemy fleet scatter. Some retreated, some exploded. But one thing was clear. Earth had survived. Kale stood beside Ray, both tired, both changed. "They'll come again," Kale said. "We'll be ready," Ray replied. Morgan smiled. "Today," she said, "humanity just became more than human." But far beyond the edge of known space, the Silence Council gathered. One of them whispered, "The heir has activated the core. The humans stand with him. We must now awaken the final protocol." A dark vault opened, and something older than history began to rise, a shadow no light could touch. The lost weapon space was quiet again, but it was not peace. It was the silence before a greater storm. Ray stood inside the command hall of Earth's fleet, staring at the screen. Kale stood beside him, silent, eyes cold, body tense. They had won a battle, but not the war. Admiral Morgan approached with a data pad. We intercepted a message. The silence is gathering again, and this time, they're not just sending ships. She paused. They're sending the final protocol. Ray frowned. What's that? Kale answered softly. It's not a weapon. It's a being. The last guardian of the silence. Older than me. Older than stars. It cannot be stopped with ships or guns. Morgan asked, can you stop it? Kale looked at her. No, he said. But there is something that can. An ancient legend told of a lost weapon, not made of metal, not forged by hands. A throne, hidden in the ashes of Kale's destroyed empire. It was not just a seat of power. It was a machine that connected stars, minds, and souls. A machine that bent time, gravity, and war itself. But there was a price. It could only be activated by the blood of Aritis, and once awakened, it would drain the life of its heir. Kale, Ray, and Kale boarded the Swift Owl once again. They left the fleet behind and flew into the unknown, to a dead system marked V0. No light, no stars, no signal, only ruins of a lost age. The place where Kale was born and where his family died. They landed on a broken planet covered in black sand. The skies were cracked, the air was dry. Stone towers stood like bones of a forgotten world. Kale walked ahead without a word. Ray followed, watching his friend closely. The boy he had saved now looked like a prince walking to his own funeral. Are you sure about this? Ray asked. Kale didn't stop walking. If we don't activate the throne, the final protocol will destroy Earth and everything else. You'll die. Yes, Ray stepped in front of him. Then we find another way. Kyle looked at him and smiled for the first time in days. There is no other way. But thank you for trying. They reached the throne. Hidden, inside a temple, half buried, but still alive. It was not made of stone or steel, but of light, shape, memory. Kale stepped forward. The throne reacted. It remembered him. Symbols floated in the air. Lights danced around him. The temple began to shake. Voice echoed from the throne. Blood of Aritis. Do you awaken the weapon? Kale closed his eyes. Yes. But before he could sit, before the throne could complete its bond, a shadow moved. They were not alone. A black gate appeared behind them, and through it stepped the final protocol. Not a machine, not a beast, not a god, but something worse. It had no shape. It changed every second. Sometimes it looked human, sometimes like smoke, sometimes like all of Kale's family, twisted into pain. Ray raised his blaster. The shadow laughed. You think a tool of flesh can stop me? Ray fired anyway. The shot passed through. Then the shadow hit him. Not with a fist, but with a scream. Scream of a million voices. Ray fell to the ground shaking. Kyle turned, his eyes glowing, his voice no longer soft. You came too late. The throne pulsed. The final protocol growled. You will not survive this. Kale walked slowly to the throne. I know. He turned to Ray, still alive but weakened. Thank you for giving me time. Thank you for being the first to care. Ray shouted, Don't do this. Kale smiled. If I don't, everything dies. He sat. The temple lit up. The sky cracked. The planet began to rise into the air. The throne connected. With the stars. With the systems. With the galaxy. Earth's fleet far away saw the change. Their ships glowed, enemy ships shattered without being touched. The silence's network broke apart. The final protocol screamed and dissolved into light. Kale's body began to fade, his fingers, his face, his eyes. Ray ran to him. No, no, fight it. Kale's voice echoed, gentle and distant. I was never meant to stay. And then, he was gone. Only the throne remained, silent, but watching. Back on Earth, Admiral Morgan looked to the stars. A message came in. The silence is broken. Their fleets are gone. Their power is shattered. We are free. But Morgan didn't smile. And the boy? She asked. Ray's voice came through. Low. Tired. Broken. He saved us all. Far away, in the center of the throne, a spark remained. Not dead. Not gone just waiting, because sometimes heroes don't die. They become legends. The final stand-it had been 6 days since Kyle sacrificed himself, 6 days since the throne lit up the stars, 6 days since the silence fell. The war was over. But victory didn't feel like peace. Earth celebrated. Cities lit up. People danced. The silence was gone. No more hidden ships. No more threats in the dark. And yet, in the heart of it all, one man sat alone. Ray Thorne, the man who saved the alien child and helped change the galaxy, stared at the sky from a quiet balcony above Earth Command. He didn't smile. He didn't drink. He didn't rest. He just watched. He remembered the last thing Kale said. I was never meant to stay, but something deep inside Ray whispered, this isn't over. Far beyond human space, something stirred. Inside the ruins of the Silence's last fortress, a single room remained untouched. Ancient machines hummed. Data flickered, and inside a crystal chamber something blinked. Not a weapon, not a monster. A child. His eyes opened and they glowed. Not blue like Kale's, but gold. And behind them was memory, Kale's memory. His mind had survived. The throne had copied him, not just his power, but his soul. Back on Earth, Ray met with Admiral Morgan in a private chamber. You're being offered a medal, she said. I don't want it, Ray replied. Then what do you want? Ray stared at a star map. A small red dot blinked in a dead system no one ever visited. I want to go back, he said. To the throne? Ray nodded. Something's calling me. Morgan sighed. You're chasing a ghost. Ray looked her in the eyes. I know, but sometimes ghosts are real. 3 days later, Ray flew alone, back to the ruins of House Aritis. The skies were still broken, the air still dry, but the throne was active. It pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. Ray stepped forward. Kyle, you there? Nothing. Then, a spark, a flash, and from the light, a voice. Not loud, not human, not machine. Kyle, but different. Ray, I am not what I was. Ray's eyes widened. You're alive? Part of me survived. Part of me became something new. The throne didn't just copy me. It connected me to everything. I'm everywhere now. Ray stepped closer. Then come back. We need you. Kale's voice changed, soft, almost sad. I can't return like before. My body is gone, but my will remains. And you are my voice now. Suddenly alarms blared. Ray's ship lit up with warnings. Something had breached the outer system. A single ship, unknown class. Not silence. Not human. Something new, or something forgotten. Kale spoke again. The silence was not the only threat. They were just the first fire. The galaxy is waking. Others will come, worse than the silence. Older than us both. Ray's voice cracked. Then we stop them. Not me. Us. From the throne, light stretched out into the sky, and across human space, old satellites blinked, systems powered up, and in hidden stations, long-dormant AIs activated. Kale had prepared for this. He had used the throne not to win one war, but to prepare for the next. On Earth, Admiral Morgan received the signal. What is it? Her officer asked. She stared at the screen. Kale's symbol had returned. a circle inside a burning star. It means, she said slowly, we're not alone anymore. 1 week later, Ray returned to Earth. Not alone. The throne had sent a guardian with him, a synthetic body carrying part of Kale's mind, part human, part machine. Not a boy, not a god. Something between a messenger, a leader, a protector. Kale had become more than a person. He had become a force. And Ray, he had become his voice. Humans began to prepare, not for peace, but for the future full of new enemies, new stars and new legends. The silence was gone, but the galaxy had heard Earth's answer. We protect our own. We don't run. We rise. And now, they had a name for it. FY, humanity. F, yeah. And the stars would never forget it. The end.